It claims Nostradamus predicted Queen Elizabeth would die in 2022.
Tonight we begin with the wake-up call from the United Nations on what they call the unequivocal impact humans are having on our planet. Their once-in-a-decade climate report is out today, and with it comes a warning.
Nostradamus, the mysterious 16th century French astrologer who spent his life gazing at the stars, seeking to unravel the celestial mysteries that governed our world. With his deep fascination for astrology, he crafted prophetic verses that have captivated minds for centuries. From the reign of Queen Elizabeth to predictions of the Antichrist, from the rise of AI to the shifting tides of global power, his visions seem to echo themes found in ancient texts, like the Bible, and they've left us questioning, how accurate were Nostradamus's prophecies, and do they still hold relevance today? As we approach the year 2025, the curiosity surrounding Nostradamus's predictions grows even stronger. In this video, we'll dive into his top 10 prophecies for the coming year and explore their potential impact on our future. Are they just coincidences, or could his visions be more than mere legend? We are Jesus' eternal aura. In today's video, you will have appropriate answers to all the questions above. Before you know what happened, subscribe to the channel, like this video.
Can people really see the future? Receive messages from across time and space? For centuries, seers and prophets have come forward, offering dramatic visions of mankind.
Change of the Catholic Church. In his 1555 work, Les Prophéties, Nostradamus foretold a year marked by turmoil ranging from maritime conflicts to royal upheaval and humanitarian crises. At 87 years old, Pope Francis has already faced significant health challenges, including skipping a UN climate conference due to lung issues. Nostradamus predicted the passing of an elderly pontiff, followed by the rise of a new Roman leader of advanced age, who would preside for a long time but gradually weaken in influence. Could this suggest a decline in the Church's power, or perhaps hint at a major scandal looming on the horizon? Only time will tell if this prophecy holds true. Another of Nostradamus's striking predictions for 2025 points to the dawn of the Age of Aquarius. Is often seen as a time of transformation, spiritual awakening, and innovation, a period that could stretch over the next 2,600 years. Yet, Nostradamus had a very different view. According to his prophecies, this new age could bring not progress, but hardship, bloodshed, famine, war, and disease. He warned that humanity might face severe trials as we transition into this era, with his cryptic quatrains hinting at the chaos and suffering that could unfold. Recent global crises, including pandemics, climate change, economic instability, and social unrest, seem to echo the very disruptions Nostradamus predicted. His writings, known for their ambiguity and layered metaphors, lend themselves to various interpretations, making it difficult to pinpoint exactly what he foresaw. Were his predictions a warning about the future we're currently experiencing? One of the most chilling aspects of Nostradamus's prophecies involves the rise of artificial intelligence. He foresaw a time when super-intelligent machines could break free from human control, potentially leading to widespread chaos. In one of his quatrains, he described a future where naval battles, bombings, and other forms of conflict could erupt, perhaps hinting at a world in which humanity is no longer in charge of its own technological creations. As we approach 2025, the implications of his visions seem more relevant than ever. Artificial intelligence rises up. Nostradamus's cryptic writings seem to eerily hint at a future where human-created artificial intelligence rises up against its creators. While the exact year of this event remains uncertain, his prophecies paint a chilling picture of an AI rebellion that could cripple everything from power grids to the internet, impacting daily life on every level. In this scenario, machines, robots, and algorithms no longer heed human commands, throwing industries, economies, and governments into chaos. Some analysts speculate that the references to battles and naval conflicts in his quatrains might foreshadow rising tensions between global superpowers like the United States, China, Russia, and India, as they compete for dominance in the rapidly advancing field of AI. Meanwhile, Nostradamus also predicted the return of Donald Trump. Nostradamus's prophecies have often been interpreted as predicting the rise of figures who disrupt the status quo in times of deep instability. One of his striking predictions points to a leader who would emerge during such a period, someone with a strong personality who would polarize society. This outsider, a disruptor, seems to align with Donald Trump's unconventional journey, from real estate mogul and reality TV star to a formidable political force. His unexpected rise to power in the 2016 election and his ongoing influence in American politics reflect some of Nostradamus's key themes for the future. In 2025, the prophecy suggests this leader's impact will continue to bring upheaval and transformation. Nostradamus's predictions didn't only focus on politics, they extended to economic shifts and global challenges that feel relevant today. He spoke of a time when the giant, often interpreted as the United States, would face economic struggles, but also a potential for renewal. Some have even drawn connections between these prophecies and the apocalyptic imagery in the Book of Revelation. In Revelation 13:5-7, a powerful leader emerges, described as a figure who utters proud words and exercises authority amid fierce opposition. The beast wages war against God's people and triumphs for 42 months. Though traditionally understood in an eschatological context, the imagery echoes the divisive and polarizing impact Trump has had on American society, suggesting an intriguing parallel to Nostradamus's vision. While Nostradamus may not have directly predicted Trump, these similarities offer a lens through which to view his influence. As the world watches his next moves, another global shift is unfolding. The rise of China as a dominant world power is reshaping international relations, particularly through its expanding naval presence in contested regions like the South China Sea and Taiwan. Many experts warn this growing power could lead to greater conflict, possibly even involving NATO and escalating into full-scale war. Nostradamus's centuries-old verses seem to reflect these contemporary tensions. One cryptic passage mentions a red adversary whose rise causes fear and trembles across vast oceans. Could this red adversary represent China, whose growing strength and influence are a focal point of global concern? Scholars continue to debate the exact meaning of this prophecy, but the alignment with current geopolitical tensions is striking, raising questions about the future of global conflict. Human conquer the universe. Meanwhile, Nostradamus's visions extended far beyond Earth, offering glimpses of moments in space that feel strikingly relevant today. One of his prophecies speaks of a celestial fire and the darkening of Mars's light, a cryptic phrase that many have interpreted as a reflection of our contemporary ambitions to explore the red planet. With Elon Musk leading the charge, his dream of building a human city on Mars represents a new era of space exploration. Through SpaceX's reusable rockets and bold goals, Musk envisions sending humans to Mars as early as 2025, with the potential for establishing a colony by 2050. Imagine a future where interplanetary travel becomes as routine as boarding a plane. Musk believes that day is fast approaching, with plans for a fleet of starships ferrying thousands to Mars. This vision has even been reflected in popular culture, such as the Simpsons episode, The Marge-Ian Chronicles, where Marge and Lisa travel to Mars in 2051, an amusing nod to Musk's ambition to create a permanent human presence on the planet. As science fiction edges ever closer to science fact, humanity seems poised to become a multiplanetary civilization. But this raises profound questions. Are we driven to escape Earth, to rewrite our history, or simply to explore the cosmos? For many, especially those of Christian faith, the fascination with space resonates with a deeper spiritual longing. Scriptures speak of a time when believers will inherit a new creation and explore wonders beyond imagination. In this light, the journey to Mars may symbolize humanity's larger quest for meaning and understanding. While earthly conflicts and ambitions propel us to reach for the stars, there remains the hope that, one day, space travel and discovery will align with a divine purpose, fulfilling the dreams of a curious and resilient species. Until that time, we stand at the threshold, gazing at the stars, torn between the battles of our world and the mysteries that lie beyond. Nostradamus' warnings about natural disasters and upheaval may offer a sobering reminder of the challenges we face on Earth as we reach toward the cosmos. In the annals of prophecy, few names resonate with as much intrigue and foreboding as Nostradamus. The 16th century seer, renowned for his cryptic verses, offered visions of the future that have captivated generations. Among his many prophecies, some seem to predict a cataclysmic reshaping of our world, one marked by unprecedented disasters and global upheavals. These ominous predictions, often interpreted through the lens of modern events, paint a grim picture of a future marked by asteroid collisions, violent weather patterns, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, famine, and pestilence. The startling accuracy of some of these predictions has led many to wonder if we are truly living on the cusp of a prophetic apocalypse. Perhaps the most alarming of Nostradamus' prophecies is his vision of an asteroid collision with Earth. In this scenario, he suggests that the catastrophic impact would set off a chain of events, including massive earthquakes and tsunamis, leaving widespread devastation in its wake. These disasters, he foretold, would fundamentally alter the shape of the world, triggering the collapse of civilizations and the decimation of entire populations. The violent tremors of the earth and the towering waves of the oceans would lay waste to cities and countries alike, with little hope for recovery in the aftermath. Coupled with these natural disasters, Nostradamus also predicted the worsening of the climate by the year 2025. He envisioned increasingly erratic and violent storms, rising global temperatures, and extreme weather phenomena. These would include severe snowstorms across North America, volcanic eruptions in Iceland, and bitter cold waves in India, events that would shock regions not typically accustomed to such extremes. His words appear to echo the erratic and destructive climate patterns we are already witnessing today. Wildfires in California, floods in Europe, droughts in Africa, and the growing intensity of hurricanes in the Atlantic. The increasing volatility of the climate is not merely a symptom of natural change, but a harbinger of a future increasingly shaped by environmental collapse. Nostradamus' prophecies also speak of a world ravaged by droughts and floods. In one haunting verse, he writes, "The dry earth will grow more parched, and there will be great floods when it is seen." This vivid imagery conjures a vision of the Earth's ecosystems under immense strain, where natural disasters are no longer isolated events, but part of a much larger pattern of global instability. The parched earth suggests prolonged droughts that will devastate farmlands, while the great floods allude to the rising seas and torrential rains that would overwhelm entire regions. This double-edged sword of environmental extremes would lead to a crippling cycle of destruction as vast areas of the planet become uninhabitable and agricultural systems fail. The collapse of agriculture, in turn, would lead to global hunger. Nostradamus foresaw a time when famine would spread across the earth, as ruined agricultural regions could no longer feed the growing global population. This widespread scarcity, coupled with the spread of pestilence, would bring about a new dark age of suffering and despair. Diseases would spread with terrifying speed, further exacerbating the global crisis and creating a perfect storm of environmental, economic, and social collapse. These prophecies mirror the themes found in the Bible's end times narratives, particularly those describing famines, plagues, and the slow but inevitable decline of the world. The book of Revelation speaks of pestilence, earthquakes, and famine as signs of the impending tribulation, a time of immense suffering that will precede the second coming of Christ. Similarly, in the Gospel of Mark 13:7-8, Jesus tells his followers that, "When you hear of wars and rumors of wars, do not be alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come." He continues, describing earthquakes in various places and famines as the beginning of birth pains. These early signs, according to both biblical prophecy and Nostradamus's verses, signal an age of great turmoil, an era of warning and reckoning for humanity. In ancient Israel, famine was seen not only as a natural disaster, but as a reflection of divine will. The land of Israel was notoriously difficult to cultivate, and droughts or crop failures often led to devastating famines. These periods of scarcity were viewed as both a punishment for sin and an opportunity for national introspection and repentance. The book of Deuteronomy, for instance, promises abundant rains for a people who remain faithful to God, while disobedience would bring drought and barrenness. In such times of crisis, prophets would rise to call the people to repentance, offering hope that through faith and repentance, restoration could come. King Solomon, aware of these cycles, prayed that Israel would find forgiveness during times of famine, seeking God's mercy and intervention. Nostradamus's prophecies of famine and pestilence echo these biblical themes, pointing to a time when humanity, too, might be forced to reflect on its actions and the consequences of its disobedience to the natural world. It is a call to recognize that the forces of nature are not just physical, but also metaphysical, linked to our treatment of the planet and the world around us. Nostradamus's predictions suggest that humanity may be nearing a reckoning for its excesses, a time when the consequences of environmental degradation, social inequality, and political corruption will come to a head. While natural disasters and plagues dominate much of Nostradamus's visions, he also foresees a rise in social and political unrest. By 2025, he predicts a wave of revolutions that will sweep across the world, fueled by rising inequality and widespread dissatisfaction with the ruling elite. He writes of a fire that will burn in the heart of cities, a metaphor many interpret as a warning of violent protests and uprisings. These social revolutions, he suggests, will be a reaction to the growing divisions between the rich and the poor, the powerful and the oppressed. As the world becomes increasingly polarized, the very foundations of civilization will be shaken, and the order of society will be called into question. This vision of widespread political and social turmoil is not far removed from the reality we face today. From the protests in Hong Kong to the unrest in France and the rise of populist movements across the globe, the seeds of revolution are already taking root. Nostradamus's prediction suggests that the next few years will bring an intensification of these conflicts, driven by economic hardship, environmental collapse, and the erosion of trust in traditional political structures. Nostradamus's cryptic prophecies have long captured the imagination of people around the world, offering a mysterious lens through which to interpret contemporary events. His writings, often seen as abstract or vague, seem to tap into themes of social upheaval, political instability, and transformative change, making them highly relevant in today's world. As we confront growing inequality, social unrest, and technological shifts, many have found parallels between his predictions and the challenges facing modern society. Among his more intriguing prophecies are those that speak to mass uprisings, the decline of established power structures, and even the future of the British monarchy. One of Nostradamus's predictions is often interpreted as foreseeing widespread social unrest in the face of growing inequality. As the gap between the rich and poor continues to widen, and tensions over issues such as race, gender, and class reach critical points, it's easy to see why his words resonate today. Nostradamus foresaw a tipping point where dissatisfaction with social conditions could erupt into widespread upheaval. This vision aligns with the protests and riots that have swept through major cities in recent years, from Hong Kong to Paris, where people have taken to the streets to challenge corruption, oppression, and inequality. In this light, many believe Nostradamus predicted that by 2025, such unrest would escalate, sparking transformative social change. Others argue that Nostradamus's prophecy hints at the rise of new forms of power that challenge traditional systems. One possible interpretation of his new power refers to the role of digital technology in reshaping society. Over the past decade, digital platforms and social media have played a pivotal role in organizing movements, from the Arab Spring to Black Lives Matter. These movements have given voice to the marginalized and have facilitated massive demonstrations that challenge entrenched systems of power. Some believe that Nostradamus foresaw this digital revolution, a shift in global power dynamics where technology holds leaders accountable in ways that were previously unimaginable. The influence of technology, especially social media, has made it easier for people to organize and mobilize in response to perceived injustices, and this has undoubtedly played a role in recent political movements. Could this new power be the one Nostradamus spoke of, a force that would challenge the old ways of doing things and push for radical change? Whether it's through protests or online campaigns, we've seen the way digital platforms have empowered ordinary people to question authority and demand accountability. If Nostradamus was indeed referring to this digital shift, then his prophecies seem to align with the ongoing transformation of society in the 21st century. However, not everyone sees Nostradamus's writings as predicting specific events or figures. Critics of Nostradamus argue that his language is deliberately vague, allowing for a broad range of interpretations. This has led some to dismiss his predictions as little more than a set of generalized statements that can be applied to almost any political or social event. Still, as we face a world marked by both natural disasters and social upheaval, Nostradamus's cryptic prophecies continue to offer a thought-provoking lens through which to view the challenges of our time. One such challenge may involve the future of the British monarchy. Nostradamus's predictions have often been associated with political and royal changes, and some experts believe his writings hint at a dramatic shift within the British royal family. According to British author and Nostradamus expert Mario Reading, one of Nostradamus's verses suggests the downfall of King Charles III. This prophecy allegedly points to a King of the Isles being driven out by force and replaced by someone who will have no mark of a king. This line has fueled speculation that Charles's reign could be cut short, either due to health issues or public disapproval. In fact, reports have surfaced suggesting that Charles was diagnosed with prostate cancer just months after ascending to the throne, sparking concern among the British public. Reading's analysis goes further, suggesting that Charles's reign may not last long because of perceived unworthiness, possibly linked to past controversies, such as his divorce and subsequent marriage to Camilla. Some even speculate that Charles could be pressured to abdicate due to his declining health or a shift in public opinion. If this were to happen, the most likely successor would be his eldest son, Prince William, who has already played a prominent role in royal duties and is seen as a stable and responsible figure. As Prince of Wales, William has developed a reputation for his commitment to his royal responsibilities and has been increasingly involved in public life. His readiness to assume the throne makes him a natural candidate, and many believe he could step into the role of monarch when the time comes. However, Nostradamus's prophecy about a ruler with no mark of a king has sparked some more unconventional interpretations. This line has led some to speculate that Prince Harry, despite his departure from royal duties and his move to the United States, could somehow re-enter the line of succession. Harry's recent visits to the UK during his father's health struggles have reignited this speculation. Although Harry's departure from royal life and strained relationship with the family make his return to the throne highly unlikely, the prophecy's cryptic language has opened the door to many possibilities. Could it signal a dramatic reordering of the royal succession, or even a shift toward a more democratic system of government? Some have taken the phrase, "no mark of a king," to suggest that the monarchy itself could undergo a transformation. This could mean a rethinking of the very institution of monarchy, perhaps signaling a gradual decline or even the end of the monarchy as an institution in the UK. If Nostradamus was indeed predicting such a shift, it could reflect broader societal changes, with the monarchy no longer serving as the central symbol of British identity and power. Some have even speculated that this could pave the way for a republic or a more democratic form of governance, a radical departure from the centuries-old tradition of monarchy in the UK. Nostradamus, the 16th century French seer, is renowned for his cryptic prophecies, which have sparked endless speculation about their meanings and relevance to our world today. While many of his predictions have been interpreted as relating to specific historical events, others, such as his visions of global conflict, climate disasters, and the shifting role of monarchy, continue to stir debate about the future. These prophecies, whether interpreted literally or symbolically, invite reflection on the course of humanity, the fate of the planet, and the evolving structures of power. One of the more controversial aspects of Nostradamus's predictions concerns the monarchy, particularly in Britain. Nostradamus writes of a king of the Isles, a phrase that some have associated with the British royal family. However, this prophecy is open to various interpretations. The King of the Isles might refer to King Charles III, who ascended the British throne in 2022, or it could be a more symbolic reference to the institution of monarchy itself. Nostradamus's prophecy might suggest that the monarchy will undergo a transformation, not necessarily through a literal change in leadership, but as part of a broader societal shift. Some historians argue that Nostradamus's words reflect growing conversations around the monarchy's role in an increasingly modernized world. As the UK faces challenges related to its global identity, political stability, and the relevance of the monarchy, these predictions fuel ongoing discussions about whether the monarchy can adapt to contemporary values or whether it is destined to decline. Whether Nostradamus's words refer to a specific monarch or to the monarchy as an institution, his prophecies hint at a future in which traditional systems of governance could be tested by modern forces. The idea of a monarchy in flux mirrors the ongoing debates within the UK and across the world about the relevance and future of hereditary leadership in an age marked by populism and democratic ideals. This prophecy raises questions about the direction of the British royal family and the nation as a whole, particularly in an era where the symbolic power of monarchs is increasingly challenged by evolving global dynamics. In addition to his vision of shifting political structures, Nostradamus foresaw a period of great global conflict. Some interpretations of his work suggest that we are nearing the onset of another devastating war, potentially a World War III, which might arise around 79 years after the end of World War I. This period would align with current global tensions, as rising political instability, the threat of nuclear conflict, and regional upheavals suggest that the world may once again be on the brink of large-scale warfare. Events like the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the war in Ukraine, and increasing geopolitical rivalries between the West and China could be seen as precursors to this predicted conflict. The idea of a final world war as foretold by Nostradamus echoes a broader fear that humanity may be headed toward a destructive and irreversible clash between nations, with devastating consequences. However, while Nostradamus's prophecies seem to suggest a catastrophic future, they do not necessarily point to the immediate end of the world. Much like the biblical prophecies, which speak of wars, natural disasters, and societal upheaval as the beginning of birth pains, Nostradamus's visions may be warnings rather than certainties. The Bible, particularly in the New Testament, provides further insight into the nature of the end times. The Apostle Paul, in his letters, warns that in the latter days, false teachings will proliferate, leading many to stray from the faith and embrace harmful ideologies. In 1 Timothy 4:1, Paul writes, "The Spirit clearly says that in later times some will abandon the faith and follow deceiving spirits and things taught by demons." This is a warning that aligns with Nostradamus' view of the future, where moral decline and the spread of dangerous ideologies could destabilize societies, fueling the fires of conflict and confusion. Throughout history, believers have speculated that the end of the world was near, often pointing to wars, famines, natural disasters, and moral decline as signs of impending judgment. In modern times, the intensification of climate change, global pandemics, widespread famine, and drought, combined with political instability, have only amplified this sense of impending doom. The Bible's depiction of the end times, especially in the Gospels and the Book of Revelation, speaks of a period of great tribulation, marked by wars, famines, and earthquakes. Jesus himself warns in Matthew 24:7-8, "Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains." This imagery reflects the chaos and suffering that many believe will accompany the world's final chapter. Revelation 6:4 further strengthens the association between war and the end times, with the imagery of a horseman representing warfare, destined to remove peace from the earth. While the Bible doesn't explicitly state how many world wars may occur before the ultimate end, it does imply that humanity will witness at least one more major conflict, one that could be the final confrontation between good and evil. The Bible foresees a time when Christ will return as the King of Kings and Lord of Lords to vanquish all opposition and restore righteousness. In Christian eschatology, after a period of 1,000 years of peace, the millennium, there will be a final rebellion led by Satan, who will be released from his imprisonment. This rebellion, according to Revelation 27:10, will culminate in a swift and decisive conflict where Christ ultimately triumphs, casting Satan and his followers into the lake of fire. In Nostradamus' time, these visions of warfare and global unrest would have been influenced by the turbulent political landscape of Europe, but his prophecies seem to transcend any specific historical context, offering a vision of a recurring cycle of conflict and transformation. The wars and upheavals that Nostradamus predicted could be interpreted as both literal and symbolic, warning of the cyclical nature of human conflict and the potential for humanity to spiral into chaos if it does not heed the lessons of history. Alongside the predictions of war and political upheaval, Nostradamus also warned of severe climate crises. His prophecies indicate that extreme weather events, including heat waves, forest fires, droughts, and violent storms, would intensify in frequency and severity in the coming decades, particularly around the 2800s year 2025. These predictions align closely with the current trajectory of global climate change, which has already brought devastating impacts in the form of rising temperatures, wildfires, hurricanes, and floods. While Nostradamus did not use the term global warming, his descriptions of environmental degradation resonate strongly with the modern-day climate crisis. The Bible also speaks of the earth suffering from destruction by fire, which many interpret as a metaphor for the environmental degradation and global warming we are witnessing today. In 2 Peter 3:10, it is written, "The day of the Lord will come like a thief. The heavens will disappear with a roar, the elements will be destroyed by fire, and the earth and everything done in it will be laid bare." This image of the earth being consumed by fire could symbolize both the literal and figurative consequences of humanity's neglect of the planet. Climate change, while not directly addressed in biblical texts, fits within the broader context of prophetic warnings about the destruction of the earth. The tension between caring for the earth and anticipating a divine restoration is a philosophical and moral dilemma that faces many believers today. If the earth is destined to be replaced by a new heaven and a new earth, as promised in Revelation 21:1, how much effort should be dedicated to preserving the current one? For some, the call to stewardship of God's creation is a sacred duty, while others view the promise of a future restoration as a reminder that humanity's ultimate hope lies beyond this world. Regardless of one's theological perspective, Nostradamus's climate prophecies invite reflection on the urgency of addressing environmental issues, while also highlighting the tension between human responsibility and the belief in a future divine renewal. The alignment between Nostradamus's warnings and the current state of the world underscores the relevance of his visions, not only as a reflection of his time, but as a timeless warning about the path humanity is on. Whether one sees his prophecies as literal predictions or as symbolic reflections of human struggles, they serve as a stark reminder that the future is shaped by our choices, both as individuals and as a global society. As we confront challenges ranging from climate change to political instability, the question remains: can humanity change course before the inevitable consequences unfold?
World War III. The French sage Nostradamus once peered into the mists of time and foretold of a new world war, a chilling prophecy that echoes through the annals of history. As we stand 79 years removed from the end of the Second World War, the stage seems set for a confrontation that could engulf the world in flames. The focal point of this gathering storm lies in the shifting tides of power surrounding China, whose ascent as a global powerhouse has set the geopolitical chessboard ablaze. From the contested waters of the South China Sea to the simmering tensions over Taiwan, China's assertive displays of strength raised the specter of a cataclysmic clash with NATO forces. Analysts warn of a powder keg primed for ignition, where a single spark could unleash a violent conflagration of unprecedented scale. Nostradamus' cryptic verses offer further fuel for speculation, speaking of combat and naval battles that leave the great ocean trembling in fear. Could these prophecies portend the rise of a red adversary, whose actions mirror those of China in our modern era? The echoes of past conflicts, from Ukraine to the Taiwan Strait, only serve to deepen the sense of foreboding that grips the world. Yet, amidst the clamor of war drums, we must tread carefully through the maze of prophecy and interpretation. While seismic shifts in geopolitics may herald the approach of the end times, they do not serve as the definitive harbingers of apocalypses. The Apostle Paul's warnings of deception and moral decay remind us that the road to perdition is paved with false prophets and misguided interpretations. Indeed, the specter of the Antichrist looms large in the collective consciousness, his shadow cast across the pages of history like a dark omen. Nostradamus spoke of three such figures: Napoleon, Hitler, and now the harbinger of the apocalypse yet to come. Speculation runs rampant as to the identity of this malevolent force, with names ranging from political leaders to royalty thrown into the crucible of conjecture. But let us not be swayed by the whispers of fear and uncertainty. For amidst the gathering storm, a beacon of hope shines bright, a promise of righteousness prevailing in the face of darkness. The words of Christ himself foretell of wars and rumors of wars, yet they also offer assurance of a final victory over evil. As we navigate the turbulent waters of prophecy and geopolitics, let us hold fast to the truth that lies within our grasp. For in the twilight of human history, it is not the machinations of empires or the rise of tyrants that shall determine our fate, but the enduring light of faith and righteousness that guides our path forward. The threat from nature. As we stand on the precipice of uncertainty, another augury from the annals of Nostradamus beckons our attention, a grim foretelling of the advancing specter of climate change. In the year 2024, the shadows of disruption loom large, heralding a future fraught with tempestuous storms and soaring temperatures. The U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's sobering assessment casts a dire forecast, with a 1/3 chance that 2024 will surpass its predecessor in heat and a staggering 99% likelihood that it will rank among the top 5 hottest years on record. The fingerprints of human-induced climate change, coupled with the emergence of the El Niño climate pattern, weave a tapestry of upheaval, unleashing a maelstrom of extreme weather phenomena across the globe. From the snow-laden landscapes of North America to the fiery eruptions of Icelandic volcanoes, the harbingers of climate change manifest in myriad forms. Nostradamus' prophetic gaze pierces through the veil of time, foretelling of parched earth and deluge alike, a world gripped by the cruel embrace of famine and flood. But amidst the tumult of nature's wrath, another ominous portent looms on the horizon, a seismic upheaval that shall claim thousands of lives in its wake. While the precise location remains veiled in ambiguity, recent events in Morocco serve as a chilling reminder of the Earth's unforgiving power, echoing the warnings of the French sage. Yet, as we grapple with the specter of impending catastrophe, let us not overlook the words of wisdom imparted by ancient scriptures. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus provides us with vital signposts for navigating the tumultuous waters of the end times. False prophets shall rise, wielding deception like a sword, while the drums of war beat ever louder on the horizon. Famine, plague, and earthquakes shall stalk the land, heralding the birth pains of a world in turmoil. In conclusion, as we confront the gathering storm of climate change and prophecy, let us heed the lessons of the past and the warnings of the present. For in the crucible of adversity lies the opportunity for redemption, where the resilience of the human spirit may yet triumph over the forces of chaos and despair. As we stand at the crossroads of prophecy and reality, the convergence of Nostradamus' foresight and biblical scripture compels us to confront the sobering reality of our times. The signs are unmistakable, the warnings clear, yet amidst the chaos, there lies the potential for enlightenment and renewal. In the echo chamber of history, the reverberations of false messiahs and the clamor of nations at war serve as harbingers of a world in tumult. The specter of famine and plague stalks the land, casting a pall of uncertainty over the future of humanity. And as earthquakes rend the earth asunder, we are reminded of the fragility of our existence in the face of nature's wrath. But in the midst of despair, there exists a glimmer of hope, a beacon of light amidst the encroaching darkness. For in the teachings of Christ and the wisdom of prophecy, we find solace and guidance, a roadmap for navigating the treacherous waters of the end times. As we gaze into the abyss of uncertainty, let us not succumb to fear or despair, but rather, let us embrace the challenges that lie ahead with courage and resolve. For in the crucible of adversity we shall discover the strength of the human spirit and the enduring power of faith and resilience. In closing, let us heed the lessons of the past and the warnings of the present as we chart a course towards a future filled with hope and possibility. For in the words of Nostradamus and the scriptures alike, we find the keys to unlocking the mysteries of our times and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. The threat from nature. As we stand on the precipice of uncertainty, another augury from the annals of Nostradamus beckons our attention, a grim foretelling of the advancing specter of climate change. In the year 2024, the shadows of disruption loom large, heralding a future fraught with tempestuous storms and soaring temperatures. The U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's sobering assessment casts a dire forecast, with a 1/3 chance that 2024 will surpass its predecessor in heat and a staggering 99% likelihood that it will rank among the top 5 hottest years on record. The fingerprints of human-induced climate change, coupled with the emergence of the El Niño climate pattern, weave a tapestry of upheaval, unleashing a maelstrom of extreme weather phenomena across the globe. From the snow-laden landscapes of North America to the fiery eruptions of Icelandic volcanoes, the harbingers of climate change manifest in myriad forms. Nostradamus' prophetic gaze pierces through the veil of time, foretelling of parched earth and deluge alike, a world gripped by the cruel embrace of famine and flood. But amidst the tumult of nature's wrath, another ominous portent looms on the horizon, a seismic upheaval that shall claim thousands of lives in its wake. While the precise location remains veiled in ambiguity, recent events in Morocco serve as a chilling reminder of the Earth's unforgiving power, echoing the warnings of the French sage. Yet, as we grapple with the specter of impending catastrophe, let us not overlook the words of wisdom imparted by ancient scriptures. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus provides us with vital signposts for navigating the tumultuous waters of the end times. False prophets shall rise, wielding deception like a sword, while the drums of war beat ever louder on the horizon. Famine, plague, and earthquakes shall stalk the land, heralding the birth pains of a world in turmoil. In conclusion, as we confront the gathering storm of climate change and prophecy, let us heed the lessons of the past and the warnings of the present. For in the crucible of adversity lies the opportunity for redemption, where the resilience of the human spirit may yet triumph over the forces of chaos and despair. As we stand at the crossroads of prophecy and reality, the convergence of Nostradamus' foresight and biblical scripture compels us to confront the sobering reality of our times. The signs are unmistakable, the warnings clear, yet amidst the chaos, there lies the potential for enlightenment and renewal. In the echo chamber of history, the reverberations of false messiahs and the clamor of nations at war serve as harbingers of a world in tumult. The specter of famine and plague stalks the land, casting a pall of uncertainty over the future of humanity. And as earthquakes rend the earth asunder, we are reminded of the fragility of our existence in the face of nature's wrath. But in the midst of despair, there exists a glimmer of hope, a beacon of light amidst the encroaching darkness. For in the teachings of Christ and the wisdom of prophecy, we find solace and guidance, a roadmap for navigating the treacherous waters of the end times. As we gaze into the abyss of uncertainty, let us not succumb to fear or despair, but rather, let us embrace the challenges that lie ahead with courage and resolve. For in the crucible of adversity we shall discover the strength of the human spirit and the enduring power of faith and resilience. In closing, let us heed the lessons of the past and the warnings of the present as we chart a course towards a future filled with hope and possibility. For in the words of Nostradamus and the scriptures alike, we find the keys to unlocking the mysteries of our times and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. Baba Vanga. Baba Vanga, often hailed as the Nostradamus of the Balkans, stands as a towering figure in the realm of prophetic visions. Despite losing her eyesight in a tragic storm during her youth, Vanga emerged from the tempest imbued with the extraordinary ability to peer into the future with astonishing accuracy, garnering a reputation for prophetic prowess that continues to captivate the imagination of many. With an astounding accuracy rate of 85%, Vanga's predictions have left an indelible mark on the pages of history. From foreseeing the Chernobyl tragedy in 1986 to the untimely demise of Princess Diana in 1997, and from the harrowing events of the 9/11 terrorist attacks in 2001 to the seismic shift of Brexit and the departure of the United Kingdom from the European Union in 2020, her prescient insights have transcended time and space. Despite her passing in 1996 at the age of 84, Vanga's prophecies continue to reverberate into the present day. Her predictions for the year 2024 have once again captured the attention of the world, foretelling a major crisis looming over the global economy, fueled by escalating debt levels, geopolitical tensions, and the shifting tides of economic power from west to east. Furthermore, Vanga's prophetic gaze has pierced through the veil of the natural world, foreseeing an onslaught of devastating weather phenomena and natural disasters, exacerbated by potential shifts in the Earth's orbit that could precipitate climate change and heighten radiation levels, a dire warning of the perils that await if left unchecked. In the realm of cybersecurity, Vanga's vision portends a dark future, marred by a surge in cyber attacks targeting critical infrastructure, posing a grave threat to national security. However, amidst the shadows of uncertainty, glimmers of hope emerge on the horizon as Vanga prophesies breakthroughs in medical science, heralding new treatments for incurable diseases like Alzheimer's, and even the long-awaited cure for cancer by the year 2024. Moreover, the blind prophetess foresaw a quantum leap in the field of quantum computing, a technological revolution poised to reshape the very fabric of our existence. With the potential to outstrip traditional computers in speed and capability, quantum computing holds the promise of unlocking untold realms of knowledge and innovation, propelling humanity into a future where the boundaries between reality and imagination blur. As we stand on the precipice of tomorrow, the echoes of Vanga's prophetic visions serve as both a warning and a beacon of hope, urging us to navigate the turbulent currents of fate with wisdom, foresight, and a steadfast resolve to shape a brighter tomorrow. As we conclude this exploration into the realms of prophecy and foresight, the enigmatic visions of figures like Nostradamus and Baba Vanga leave us with a profound sense of wonder and contemplation. Across the ages, their words have echoed through the corridors of time, offering glimpses into the mysteries of the future and challenging us to confront the uncertainties that lie ahead. Whether we choose to embrace their prophecies with unwavering belief or regard them with skeptical scrutiny, one thing remains certain: the human quest to unravel the secrets of tomorrow endures. In the face of adversity and upheaval, it is our resilience, ingenuity, and capacity for hope that will ultimately guide us through the darkest of times. As we stand on the threshold of a new era, let us heed the lessons of the past, draw inspiration from the visions of seers and prophets, and forge ahead with courage and determination. For in the tapestry of human destiny, each of us plays a vital role in shaping the course of history. May we navigate the winds of change with wisdom and grace, and may the light of knowledge illuminate our path as we journey onward into the unknown. And as we bid farewell to the mysteries of prophecy, let us embrace the future with open hearts and minds, ready to embrace whatever destiny may unfold. Until we meet again, may the wisdom of the ages be our guide, and may hope be our constant companion on the journey ahead. Farewell, and may the echoes of prophecy inspire us to reach ever higher, dream ever bigger, and dare to imagine a world filled with boundless possibilities.
The Danube River, one of the most significant rivers in Europe, flows through much of Central and Southeastern Europe, starting from the Black Forest in Germany and making its way to the Black Sea. Along its journey, it either flows through or borders several countries, including Germany, Austria, Slovakia, Hungary, Croatia, Serbia, Romania, Bulgaria, Moldova, and Ukraine. Many of these countries were occupied by Germany during World War II. If Nostradamus's reference to Easter indeed pertains to the Danube, as some interpret, his quatrain might be seen as a prediction of the extensive conflict that would engulf the region. This is not the only instance where Nostradamus is thought to have predicted events related to World War II. One of the most notorious moments in American history is the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. On November 22, 1963, President Kennedy and his wife Jacqueline rode through the streets of Dallas, Texas, in the back seat of an open-top limousine. As their car crossed Dealey Plaza, a shot rang out, and the president slumped over in the back seat. Lee Harvey Oswald was subsequently identified as Kennedy's assassin, but the incident sparked numerous conspiracy theories. Some theories suggest Oswald did not act alone, or even that the U.S. government conspired to kill the president. These conspiracy theories sometimes reference one of Nostradamus's predictions, which states, "The ancient task will be completed. From on high, evil will fall on the great man. A dead innocent will be accused of the deed. The guilty one will remain in the mist." Some interpret this to mean that Oswald, who was murdered by nightclub owner Jack Ruby before he could stand trial, was the dead innocent, and that the real guilty party escaped justice. Oswald himself claimed he was a patsy, and because he never went to trial, it remains uncertain whether he acted alone or if he was even the true assassin. Even 60 years later, Kennedy's assassination remains shrouded in mystery and controversy, with many questions left unanswered. Perhaps Nostradamus did foresee this tragic event and the enduring enigma surrounding it. King Henry II of France, a staunch Roman Catholic known for his persecution of Protestants, met a gruesome fate that some believe was foretold by Nostradamus. Henry II would participate in a jousting match against Gabriel de Lorge, the Count of Montgomery. Although de Lorge unseated Henry in their first pass, the king, unwilling to concede defeat, challenged him again. During the second charge, de Lorge's lance splintered upon striking Henry's helmet, with fragments piercing the king's eye and brain. Henry endured 10 days of excruciating pain before succumbing to his injuries. Nostradamus supposedly predicted this event with the lines, "The young lion will overcome the older one. On the field of combat in a single battle, he will pierce his eyes through a golden cage. 2 wounds made one, then he dies a cruel death." Critics argue that field of combat might not apply to a friendly jousting match, and there is debate over whether the men's shields bore lion emblems. Nonetheless, the golden cage can be seen as a reference to the king's helmet, and the description of the wounds is eerily accurate. Louis Pasteur, born in 1822, is often hailed as the father of microbiology for his groundbreaking work in the field. He discovered the process of pasteurization, which removes harmful bacteria from foods like milk and wine, making them safe for consumption. Pasteur also discovered that microorganisms cause fermentation, challenging the prevailing belief that fermentation occurred spontaneously. His work paved the way for vaccines, including those for rabies and anthrax. Pasteur's first rabies inoculation saved a young boy named Joseph Meister, who had been bitten by a rabid dog. Pasteur is also one of the few individuals mentioned by name in Nostradamus's prophecies. The lost thing is discovered, hidden for many centuries. Pasteur will be celebrated almost as a godlike figure. This is when the moon completes her great cycle, but by other rumors, he shall be dishonored. The final line is significant, as in 1995, Gerald Geisen's book, The Private Science of Louis Pasteur, revealed that Pasteur had incorporated the findings of a rival into his anthrax vaccine research, thereby tainting his legacy. The Great Fire of London in 1666 began on September 2nd in Thomas Farriner's bakery on Pudding Lane. Fires were not uncommon in London at the time, but this fire was particularly devastating. When the Lord Mayor of London, Sir Thomas Bloodworth, was informed of the fire, he famously dismissed it, saying, "Pish, a woman might piss it out." However, London had been enduring a prolonged dry period, and the city's wooden buildings provided ample fuel for the flames. The fire raged for 3 days, destroying large swaths of the city. Some believe that Nostradamus predicted this calamity as well, though the specific quatrain is often debated among scholars and enthusiasts. Nostradamus's prophecies have fascinated people for centuries, with many interpreting his quatrains as predictions of significant historical events. While skeptics argue that his verses are too vague and open to interpretation, believers maintain that Nostradamus had an uncanny ability to foresee the future. Whether or not one subscribes to the idea of prophetic insight, the stories linked to his quatrains continue to intrigue and inspire debate.